Welcome to the ScanSource Europe podcast, bringing you the latest news and industry updates.
Okay, thank you. A couple more questions left. You'll be pleased to know this is the penultimate question. So we've all known that body language is a lot of communication when you're face to face, and so everyone wearing face masks at the minute, it's difficult to know if they're smiling, happy, upset or what, so I just generally avoid them. But Illinois Uni found that 85% of communication is through body language, and the absence of body language may well explain the popularity of Zoom parties and what have you in the absence of any decent pubs being open. Many of the vendors have been good corporate citizens and will lure people in on either a limited time free trial or discounted licenses for a period of time. What likely effect is that going to have on companies' sort of attitude to cost, given that budgets and what have you are likely to be reduced? Lucy, let's start with you on that one.
Don't get me wrong, I think it's a great thing that vendors have been able to do that and have been able to be so flexible, but I think it's going to have a bit of an impact onto how end users view the cost of their solutions. We don't know how long these kind of promotions are going to last. And once those promotions end, and there could be a significant price rise, that might cause end users to look around and look at other vendors. From a vendor perspective, this is going to drive false pipelines, and it's going to lead to confusion probably within the sales teams, because wondering which avenue are people actually going down, which platform do I need to be focusing on, because we're not actually taking a step back and going, right, okay, the solution or the promotion has finished. This was the right solution for you. This worked for your sales team. This was able to integrate into whatever platforms they may already have. And it's educating the end user to realize that that cost increase is worth it. And that is what I think distribution partners should be helping with, what vendors should be helping with through R&D, and obviously what partners are going to be doing with their wraparound of technical expertise and whatever other products that they add on. So I guess to answer your question, I think it will alter attitudes within end users, but I think it will also create an area for partners to be able to speak to these end users, understand that strategy and show them why that solution worked for that environment. I hope that makes sense.
It does, yeah. And again, I suppose from a point you made earlier, it's even more reason not to pick a solution that is reliant on a single vendor, in case you decide that you don't like that vendor anymore from a cloud services point of view. Steve, what's the techies for you?
Yeah, well, I think, as Lucy said, and even John earlier, so there was initial land grab for anything free or cheap, and to some extent paid, where people just went, right, give me 500 Zoom licenses or whatever, or the products are available. But now with the return to office, it's going to be a chance for partners to get involved in the review. Because everything was just a grab. Now it's a sit down, let's review costs, let's review options. And it's a consultancy piece at that point. One particular kind of vertical, which is really important, I think, is education. Again, around the attitude to cost. I think my belief is we're going to end up in a scenario where education isn't either in the classroom or at home. We're going to get more and more circumstances where you have got that mix. So teachers are going to need low-cost solutions because it's education, but high quality. So if we have products in our portfolio that can cater for that particular vertical, then yes, people want low cost, but we can deliver high quality as well.
Okay, thank you. John, salesman, you're always seeing an opportunity.
I want to teed you up there, John.
Thank you very much. It is a hard one to answer, Wayne, because in terms of the end user's attitudes, it's all going to depend on the individual organisation. So if you've got someone that's taken free Zoom, free Teams, or other platforms are available, as we say, if it's become an integral part of their business, and they've fully adopted it, and they're seeing better productivity, better collaboration. That means they can reduce their office footprint. It might become so ingrained in their business that they're going to have to invest in it when these trials end. So they're going to spend, it doesn't really matter too much within reason what the budget is going to be. However, there is now an expectation that certain platforms and certain functionalities are cheap, are free maybe. And I think there's going to be some shocks when actual commercial pricing comes out and promotions end. So it is very hard to say. But again, as you said, as the salesperson, that is why it is so important to be consultative, to have multiple different options available to end users. If they don't like A, B or C, have you got D or E that you can offer them? And as long as you're that value-added partner to your end users, I think they'll always come back to you. They'll trust you as an advisor. They'll work closely with you, and your business as a reseller will be protected. But as I keep saying, the next 6, 9, 12 months or even longer, it's going to be very interesting to see what the new normal is and what impact that's had exactly.
Okay, so Lucy, just carrying on a little bit from what John said there at the end of this call. So how would you suggest that resellers sort of maximise the deal potential revenue, bearing in mind end users' attitude to costs? Is they're going to want it cheap because it's free, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing. It isn't free. I think you're going to see a level where, a lot of vendors will be introducing different licensing models. I think we have already seen a few examples of that. But it's showing people that sometimes let's take a VMR. Sometimes it isn't just a VMR that you need. Sometimes you need to make sure and ask the questions of, what else are you talking to? Do you need to integrate with Teams? Who else are you talking to? It may be of how are you using those VMRs. If you look at some of the new features that are on BlueJeans and Zoom, those kind of breakout rooms, you need to be selling those kind of licenses and understanding, okay, well, what other things does this solution have or could present itself to you that you aren't aware of? It goes back to the beginning. It's the education piece, and it's showing that, okay, well, if you switch to this other solution that may look, as John says, cheap as chips, what about in this scenario that you said it's a requirement for you to be able to have that? What about this other scenario? It's not always a one-person decision will win, and sometimes you need to highlight that, okay, this does work for you, but what about your sales team? Will it work for them? And yeah, educating on the full business strategy and not just one segment.
Okay, thank you. And John, I'll give you the last word on that if you need it. Have you got anything to add?
I always like the last word, Wayne, you know me. Yeah, I mean, again, just to hammer the nail home, so to speak, it's about consultation. It's about expanding those deals. It's about understanding the end user's requirement. Why are they actually looking at taking a new technology or a new solution? What are they actually trying to do with it? And if they do see that investment as a route forward, what else can that solution do that maybe they hadn't thought about as a requirement? So that's where consultation, that's where pre-sales, that's where reviews and post-sale support become absolutely vital. And in this market, as we've said, that is challenging at the moment with reductions, furloughs and things like that. That is going to become more and more vital to the reseller base. And the ones that do adopt that strategy, if they haven't done already, the ones that do take that with hold of that with both hands, they're the ones that are going to survive this and possibly come out the other side even better.
I can't believe this is happening, but I'm actually in agreement with you, John. So
and it's
we've got that recorded as well.
There we go. This is a good day.
For you, maybe. I need to go and wash my mouth out with soap.
Or hand sanitizer.
Or hand sanitizer, yes.